Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Imagine waking up today and finding out that the singularity, that legendary moment when human history just permanently alters its course, didn't actually start with a glowing red robot eye or some supercomputer suddenly gaining consciousness.
Right, like we always see in the movies.
Exactly. What if instead the new era of human civilization was quietly kicked off by a massive spike in credit card processing?
It sounds kind of ridiculous when you say it out loud.
It really does. But welcome to Connecting the Dots, our daily deep dive into the tech world. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan. We're coming to you from Snarful Solutions Group in Sacramento, California.
And it is Thursday, August 2026. Before we get into this quadrillion-dollar tech war that's brewing right now, let's get you caught up on what's happening outside your window and, in your wallet.
Always a good idea.
So here in Sacramento, Mother Nature is honestly giving us a beautiful one today. We've got mostly sunny skies, a high of 92 degrees Fahrenheit, and a gentle breeze. I think winds are around 5 to 8 miles per hour.
Yeah, but if you look at the national map, though, it is a completely different story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the systems are incredibly active today. There are exactly 200 active U.S. weather alerts right now across the country.
Wow, 200.
200. And 145 of those are hovering right over land. So if you're traveling or if you have family on the road, please direct them to weather.gov to get the specific safety details for their route. It's pretty wild out there.
Definitely better safe than sorry. Moving over to the financial markets, traditional stocks took a bit of a breather today, while the crypto world is just absolutely surging.
Surging is an understatement.
Right. So the Dow Jones closed at 53,050.74. That's down 330.48 point, or roughly 0.62% for the day.
And the broader market held a bit steadier.
Wow.
The S&P 500 closed essentially flat at 7,685.79. It took a tiny dip of just 4.70 points.
Which is like, what, nothing?
Yeah, just a 0.06% move, almost invisible.
But the real action is in digital assets. I mean, Bitcoin is booming. It closed at 71,489.54.
That is huge.
It's a massive 2,200-point jump, so it's up 3.18% just today. And that aggressive climb caps off a staggering 13.43% gain for the week.
Which is just wild for a single week.
Absolutely.
Well, finally, let's check in on the diamond for our sports update. We had a real pitcher's duel in the Bay Area yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the Giants game?
Right. The San Francisco Giants edged out the Cleveland Guardians with a 1-0 victory. Adrian Helzer took the win on the mound for that one.
Nice. And then in a much higher scoring affair, the Athletics fell to the Kansas City Royals 7-9.
Yeah, quite a different pace in that game.
Totally. Craig Kimbrell secured the win for Kansas City in that one.
All right, so that brings us to our tech article report for today, the Morning Star.
The big one.
Yeah, we are looking at a trio of stories today that they might seem isolated at first glance, but they are all fundamentally connected.
Which is exactly why we're here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are talking about the new digital currency powering the artificial intelligence boom. A really shocking declaration from tech executives that the singularity has actually already arrived.
Which still blows my mind.
And a vicious David versus Goliath battle over how you and the companies you interact with every single day actually access AI.
Well, let's unpack this, but first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Today's episode is brought to you by Strong Coffee, the premium instant coffee that tastes like a traditional brew, but is packed with 15 grams of protein, MCTs, and adaptogens like ashwagandha. Get clean, sustained energy without the jitters. Use promo code SNARFUL for 20% off at strongcoffeecompany.com.
All right, let's jump straight into the Morning Star report, because this first story is an absolute blockbuster in the financial technology space.
It really is.
So Stripe, which most of us know as the massive payment processing giant, the company that handles our online checkouts, they just made the largest acquisition in their history.
Yeah, and it's a massive number.
Right. They are buying a company called OpenRouter in a $7.5 billion deal.
It is a staggering valuation. And just to break that money down for you, $1.5 billion is going directly to the founders, including Alex Atala, while the remaining $6 billion is heading to their early investors.
Okay, I want to stop right there because for anyone who isn't spending their day writing code or building software, OpenRouter is not exactly a household name.
No, definitely not.
When I was looking at this, the best analogy I could come up with is that it functions a lot like Kayak or Expedia, but for artificial intelligence.
That is a phenomenal way to visualize it. I mean, think about it. When you book a vacation, you don't go to Delta's website and then United's and then Southwest's trying to manually compare all the schedules and prices, right?
Right, that would take forever. You go to a travel aggregator.
Exactly. You go to a site that pulls them all into one dashboard and routes you to the best option. And OpenRouter does the exact same thing, but for businesses using AI.
Okay, so how many models are we talking about here?
They give a company access to over 400 different AI models from more than 80 different providers, all through one single portal.
And a business desperately needs that kind of aggregator because they aren't paying for AI the way, you and I pay for Netflix.
No, not at all.
It isn't a flat $20 a month. The entire AI economy runs on a pay-as-you-go model using something called tokens.
And tokens are fascinating, honestly, because they are essentially the microscopic currency of the new internet.
Break that down a bit. What exactly is a token?
Well, think of a token as a tiny fragment of a word, maybe just a syllable. Every single time an AI reads your prompt, and every time it generates a response, it consumes these tokens.
So you're paying per syllable, basically.
Pretty much. If you ask an AI to summarize a 100-page legal document, you are paying for every single fragment of every word it reads and every word it writes back to you.
So if you're a working professional, a startup founder, or even just a large family running automated smart home software, AI tokens are effectively your new utility bill.
Yes.
It's the new electricity.
And just like electricity, if you run the air conditioning with all the windows open, you are going to bleed cash.
Oh, for sure.
Managing token costs in real time is an absolute nightmare without an intelligent router. Imagine a massive enterprise handling millions of customer service chats a day.
Okay.
A customer typing, "forgot my password," is a very simple request, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to send that to a massive, premium, highly expensive AI model.
Right, that would be overkill.
Exactly. You want to route that to a small, cheap, lightning-fast model.
But if the next customer is asking to, renegotiate the terms of a complex commercial lease, you need to route that request to a heavyweight, highly intelligent model that probably costs 10 times as much.
Precisely. And OpenRouter makes those routing decisions dynamically in milliseconds, optimizing that really delicate trade-off between cost, speed, and intelligence for every single interaction.
Okay, I have to push back here, though.
Go for it.
The mechanics of OpenRouter make total sense for developers, I get that, but Stripe is a payments company. They build the checkout architecture so I can buy shoes on the internet. Why on earth is a financial services company dropping $7.5 billion on an AI traffic cop? I mean, why not buy more financial software or expand into traditional banking?
It seems disconnected until you realize how Stripe actually views itself right now.
Okay, how so?
Well, Patrick Collison, Stripe's CEO, recently stated that tokens are the central currency for companies building with AI. Stripe doesn't just want to process your credit card for a pair of shoes anymore.
They want more.
They want to be the underlying economic infrastructure for the entire internet.
So if tokens are the new global currency, Stripe essentially wants to be the central bank processing every single transaction.
That's exactly it. They recognize that the fastest growing businesses in the world are currently dedicating massive chunks of their operating budgets to compute power and AI tokens.
Right.
Whoever controls the gateway to those models controls the commerce of the future. Stripe wants to own both sides of a business's ledger.
Oh, wow. So they help you maximize your incoming revenue with their traditional payment gateways. And now they help you minimize your outgoing compute costs by routing your AI requests intelligently through OpenRouter.
Exactly. They are essentially laying down the train tracks for a completely new economy.
Which brings us to the core question.
Yeah.
Why is Stripe making a multi-billion-dollar bet on this new economy right this very second?
Yeah, the timing is interesting.
It isn't just about diversification, because according to their own internal memos, Stripe's leadership genuinely believes the world permanently changed 8 months ago.
Yeah, this part is wild. In a letter to their investors, Stripe executives boldly declared that the Singularity officially began on January 1st, 2026.
The Singularity, that's a heavy word.
It is. And they aren't just saying that to sound visionary. They are operating their entire massive global workforce on that foundational assumption.
And honestly, it seems to be working for them. They reported that their first half revenue for this fiscal year is already up 41% year over year.
Which is massive for a company their size.
Right. But we really need to pause and look closer at this word, singularity, because it carries a lot of baggage.
Oh, definitely.
When you or I hear singularity, we picture sci-fi movies. We picture Skynet or robots waking up in a lab and deciding humanity is obsolete.
Right, the traditional definition, the one popularized by futurists like Ray Kurzweil, is that point where artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence, leading to this runaway reaction of uncontrollable technological growth.
But that's not what Stripe is talking about, is it?
No, Stripe is heavily redefining the term for their own purposes. They aren't predicting self-aware machines. They define their version of the singularity as a massive, violent inflection point in long-term macroeconomic trends.
Okay, specifically, they are pointing to a historic explosion in the rate of new firm creation. They are seeing an unprecedented volume of new businesses being launched, and they attribute it entirely to AI collapsing the barrier to entry.
Exactly. They're preparing their infrastructure to handle what they project will be a quadrillion-dollar global economy.
A quadrillion.
Yeah.
With a Q.
With a Q. Right, and we are seeing this exact sentiment echoed across the tech industry, by the way. Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, publicly stated last month, we are now in the singularity.
And didn't Elon Musk say something similar?
Yep, Elon Musk tweeted the exact same phrase back in January.
I hear that, but let's apply some critical thinking here. Are these tech billionaires just moving the goalposts?
What do you mean?
Because critics, like the tech writers over at Gizmodo, are rolling their eyes pretty hard at this, and frankly, I kind of lean toward their skepticism.
It does sound like a lot of hype.
Right. A few years ago, leaders at Microsoft and OpenAI had a very specific, measurable definition for when we'd hit this tipping point. They said it would be when an AI system could autonomously generate $100 billion in profits.
Right, a very concrete metric.
And now Stripe, a payment processor, comes along and says, actually, the singularity is just a really big spike in new LLCs being formed.
Yeah.
It feels like they are co-opting a profound philosophical concept just to hype up their market sector and brag about their transaction volume.
It is entirely fair to call out the hype machine. I mean, there is an undeniable irony in declaring the dawn of a new era of human existence based on, like, a spike in B2B software subscriptions.
Exactly.
But if we peel back the corporate buzzwords, the mechanical reality they are describing is actually happening. Think about what it took to start a tech company 10 years ago.
It was a huge undertaking.
You needed a software engineer to build the product, a designer for the website, a copywriter for the marketing, and an accountant to manage the books.
You needed a team and $50,000 in seed money just to get off the ground.
Right. Today, a single person with an idea can use an AI agent to write the code, another agent to generate the visual branding, another to write the ad copy, and another to optimize the tax structure.
It's incredible.
The friction of bringing an idea to market has essentially dropped to zero. What used to take a team of 5 people a year to build can now be launched by one person over a weekend using $50 in AI tokens.
When you frame it like that, you realize that even if the word singularity is being abused for marketing, the sheer volume of money flowing into this space is very, very real.
Absolutely.
And when you have a collapsing barrier to entry creating a potential quadrillion-dollar economy, the companies controlling the toll booths become incredibly powerful.
Which paints a massive target on their backs.
Exactly. Where there is an $8 billion heavyweight giant dominating a lucrative space like the newly acquired OpenRouter, you can guarantee a hungry, aggressive startup will appear to undercut them.
Which brings us to our third story today, the Gateway War.
This one is fascinating.
Literally on the exact same day that Stripe confirmed they were buying OpenRouter, a software company called Ramp launched a direct competitor called RampRouter.
So to give you some context on the challenger, Ramp was co-founded by Eric Gleiman and Karim Attia, and they are fundamentally an expense management company.
Right.
Their entire brand identity is built on helping businesses track spending and stop bleeding cash. So stepping into AI token routing isn't just a random pivot for them.
No, it is a highly strategic expansion of their core mission to save founders money.
So let's put ourselves in the shoes of a developer or a startup founder or an IT director waking up to this news. You now face a stark binary choice between the heavyweight and the challenger to run your company's AI infrastructure.
Let's start by evaluating the heavyweight, OpenRouter. As we discussed, their catalog is immense.
Huge.
Over 500 models available globally, and they support multimodal APIs, meaning they can route text, image, audio, and video tasks.
Right.
But their biggest selling point for enterprise clients is their highly protective privacy controls. By default, OpenRouter does not store your prompts or the AI's responses unless you specifically choose to opt in for a data sharing discount.
But that premium infrastructure and peace of mind comes at a cost.
It always does.
If you are on a standard pay-as-you-go plan, OpenRouter charges a 5.5% routing fee on top of whatever the AI model charges for the tokens.
Which adds up.
Exactly. If your business is spending $10,000 a month on AI compute, you are handing OpenRouter $550 every single month just for directing the traffic.
Enter Ramp Router. Ramp is executing a classic, ultra-aggressive pricing strategy to steal market share from the giant.
The classic startup move.
Yep. They're offering $26 in promotional credits just to get you to sign up, and the killer hook. They're charging 0 routing fees all the way through the end of 2026.
0 fees is the loudest megaphone in the tech industry. It immediately gets people's attention.
Oh, absolutely.
But the deeper you look into Ramp's offering, the more you realize that free always comes with strings attached. First, Ramp Router is currently only available in the US.
Right.
Second, their catalog is a fraction of the size, measured in dozens of models rather than hundreds. But the most critical string attached is privacy.
This is the massive warning label that developers need to read. Ramp Router defaults to storing your prompts and the AI's responses for a full year.
A full year. Think about what that actually means for you, the listener, when the apps on your phone start using these routers.
It's a big deal.
If you use a customer service chatbot that happens to run on Ramp Router and you type in your account number, your address, or a personal complaint, that data sits on a third-party server for 12 months by default.
Yeah.
If you are building a healthcare app analyzing patient symptoms or a legal AI summarizing confidential trial documents, why would you ever agree to route your data through a gateway that logs everything?
You can go into Ramp's settings and opt out of the data retention, but the fact that it is the default state creates a massive compliance risk for any company handling sensitive information.
That sounds like a nightmare for IT departments.
It is. You have to aggressively monitor your dashboard and independently verify the retention terms of every single underlying AI model they connect you to.
And beyond the privacy risk, there is a massive technical headache. Ramp doesn't support the older chat completions method that thousands of legacy applications use to talk to AI. They only support newer methods. That is a crucial detail. Moving your company from OpenRouter to Ramp isn't just flipping a switch in a dashboard. You have to rip out the foundational code of how your app communicates and rewrite it.
Which takes time.
Right. That requires actual expensive engineering hours.
So you really have to weigh the true cost of free. Ramp guarantees 0 fees until January 1st, 2027. That is barely 4 months away.
Not a long time at all.
Are you really going to spend days of your engineering team's time migrating your entire code base and risk exposing your users' private data by default just to save 5.5% on your token bill for 4 months?
To understand why Ramp requires that data, we have to look at their most innovative feature, which they call shadow models.
Okay, what is that?
Well, Ramp wants to save you money by testing your prompts in the background. When you send a complex request to an expensive model, Ramp secretly sends that exact same request to a cheaper model. It then uses an evaluator to compare the two answers. If the cheaper model's answer is 99% as good, Ramp alerts you and says, hey, you can switch to this cheaper model and save 80% on this specific task.
Steve, that is a brilliant piece of engineering.
It is, but to execute that multi-model comparison, the router inherently has to store your original input and the outputs from both models.
So that's why they need the data.
Exactly. It's not necessarily malicious data harvesting. It's a functional requirement for their cost optimization engine.
So the startup founder has a genuine dilemma. Do you want Ramp's amazing cost-saving evaluation features, or do you want minimal data retention? You generally can't have both.
It's the oldest rule on the internet. You aren't paying for the product, your data is the product.
So true.
OpenRouter, now backed by the massive resources and security standards of Stripe, offers a broader, safer infrastructure today. Ramp offers a sharp introductory price and a really interesting cost optimization experiment, but it requires a leap of faith on data management.
And this rivalry is only going to accelerate. As tokens truly solidify into the utility bill of the digital economy, the gateways that route those tokens are going to become the most valuable real estate on the internet.
It is incredible to watch the infrastructure of the future being built in real time. Before we wrap up, a quick thanks to Old Glory, an iconic music and sports fan merch store, perfect for the techie in your life. Use promo code SNARFL for 15% off at oldglory.com.
To tie all of this together for you, we're looking at a fundamental shift in how human commerce operates. AI tokens are the new currency.
Right.
The leaders of the tech industry genuinely believe that a new era of explosive, frictionless business creation, their version of the Singularity, has officially begun.
And the war for who controls your access to that intelligence and who gets to hold on to your data is heating up between established titans like Stripe and aggressive challengers like Ramp.
It leaves you with a pretty provocative thought, doesn't it?
Definitely.
If Stripe is right, and this economic singularity means an exponential explosion of new businesses driven entirely by AI, well, how long is it until we see AI systems actually incorporating their own companies?
Wow.
How long until an AI acts as the CEO, pays its own token utility bills, and legally, aggressively competes with humans in the free market?
That is a singularity worth preparing for.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.